Day 3 of my climb to top 16 in EU. I'm playing Lich King here for you, and I don't play much Lich King at all, really. I don't really like the hero, but he felt so good and easy and consistent here. Like, this game felt way too simple, so I want to share with you what I did, and hopefully you'll have some good results with them as well. But yeah, this day of climbing, I played like 7 hours. I climbed to peaking rank 69 EU. Nice. But then, of course, as usual, I streamed 2 more hours in the evening, and I undid all of that work with 2 bad games, and I'm back basically where I started, which is right now rank 81 EU, around 11.6k. So, you know, still not that much progress, but hey, we'll get there today, I believe. But with Lich King here, I did a very interesting play early on. Instead of just buying the token and playing some, you know, wider boards, I'm buffing up these chroma wings. You like buffing chromas because if you level a bunch, you double the attack of them. So that's why I was cycling these quillboars, buffing chromas. My goal was to level on 5 gold, but because I got a pair and I got another sunbaking, I decided to stay down, take another pair here. And I know there's another pair on Tabbycat, but I mean, I'm gonna stick with these 2 pairs. I need to sound something to double level anyway next turn. If I freeze this alley cat, or yeah, this triple for example, I can't take it. I don't have the board space for it. I would have to freeze over multiple turns, and I need to sell this Tabby in order to double level, or I'm behind on other people. So again, I'd have 2 other pairs anyway that I can hit. This is perfectly fine. And we're still strong. We're on 40 HP. We're winning our fights, or tying our fights, and we should get our buddy here just on time, really early on. It's a tier 3 buddy, and I think it's one of the better tempo buddies early on. Just with your hero power, it already works, and you know, it's very easy to find reborn cards like these acolytes that you play on the board very often. And of course, Lich King is going to be good with an Avenge comp. You know, if you find Tank, if you find Witchwing, Dazzling Light Spawn, it's going to have some natural synergies with it, but also with Bird Buddy here, which is just a good tempo spike. So I decided to stay on 3 here because I just took 10 damage and, you know, fill out the board a little bit, maybe get some value from this reborn. I'm just gonna buy a random beast here to also buff up with this Bird Buddy instead of, you know, Bronze Warden, which is arguably a pretty good card as well, because I think, you know, it's just way more tempo right now, and potential because, you know, you like playing beast on Lich King as well. Now, I reborn the dragon here still because, you know, it summons 2 more dragons, which is pretty bad. It's like a 1-1, but they count towards the Bird Buddy. So that's why I didn't reborn the Sarlisk instead. I guess you could have reborn Sarlisk as well. Decide to just level up. There is a taunt and another triple onto the dragon. And now the question is, do I take 5s or 6s? And I wanted to go for 6s, 100%. Like, we're super strong. Even compared to this tempo hero, which is the Grey Bow, we're just a monster. And in this position, going for 6s seems almost always correct. But big buts. The tribes in the lobby are insanely good on 5 for Lich King. You have Mama Bear and Crocodile that are just some of the biggest tempo spikes you can have here with this buddy. So I think my goal here was to, you know, level freeze again, but against the Gallywakes, who is just, you know, pretty strong here, and because they're 5 being so good, I decided to take 5s. Also, because if I level here or do nothing, I take damage. Then I triple into 6s, and most 6s aren't that great for Lich King, except for maybe Meixna or Goldrin, but Goldrin comp isn't great either. Goldrin comp is just like meh recently. And here it's also between the Mama Bear and the Crocodile. We did hit or Hogger. Previously, I would always take Hogger here, but I'm gonna go for Croc. Croc is just more stats, and I'm playing a way bigger Avenge board than I would ever get value from a Mama Bear, I think. But, you know, hit Mama Bear from the second triple. So we got Mama Bear, Crocodilisk on turn 8 on Lich King, which is pretty disgusting. So that's why I wanted to stay down, just in case we hit a Crocodilisk. I'm just gonna buy a Frogger here because I don't want to waste 3 gold, and maybe go into a Beast Frogger comp. But yeah, so Beast usually doesn't win games, but it's an insane early tempo spike. So now I'm just a monster. I'm incredibly strong, and I should be able to beat Guff fairly easily. And because I didn't go for 6s, I can now just level to 5 and then level to 6 and then just roll 6 drops. So that was the idea behind this play. So instead of level, take damage, triple into 6s, maybe take damage again, right? Because 6s aren't as good. And then being stuck on tier 5 and trying to force a tempo comp to play for top 3. I don't like that. So instead, let's just get incredibly strong, become a monster, and level twice to 6 and give ourselves potential to maybe snowball and win the lobby. Now we're, yeah, as you can see, this is just disgusting. We're dealing 15 to this Guff with our beautiful animation. And there's already a ghost in the lobby, so damage cap is gone. We can actually start killing people. You always level here. Now we're up against Bran, who is kind of scary because, I mean, Bran seems to be high rolling and seems to be, you know, strong because it's a Bran with 3 triples on tier 5 as well. Now the main issue with going beast as well is that you lose to stats. Like, if people play massive stuff like Murlocs, like Quillboars maybe, Elementals, Demons, Death Rattle Demons just can't beat that. And also you lose really hard to people that zap you. And as you can see, this person has 3 triple Swolefins? How? I don't know, but there's 3 big Swolefins on their board and poison and big sets. We're luckily able to tie, but we saw that they're gonna go to the moon soon, so I think just trying to do a Mama Bear Crocodile comp or Goldring comp shouldn't be able to get us there. So change of plans. We just go to 6, use this momentum that we have to still, you know, on 30 HP level up, and then try and pivot probably in poison comp. Now this Reno is trying to lift. They got a golden hogger, but no other pirates on the board. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they also, you know, use their buddy for golden splitter, golden reborn mics. They're kind of interesting. We're luckily able to beat them, but it was a close fight. So we see a lot of people that are about to explode. And then now we're facing Onyxia, who is somehow still alive. Also got our triple buddy, which is going to end up giving us trash. I mean, Zap could maybe be good. They have 3 pirates, so maybe there's Scallywag comp. We could snipe a Baron or an Eliza or whatever. And we're just rolling basically for good tools. If I find Goldra now, I would probably still take it because it's really strong, but I wouldn't fully commit onto it. So I'm taking a Selfless here, as you can see. Like, I think in the end we're almost always a poison comp, so I take Selfless already. Macaw here is interesting, but yeah, like I said, I'm not just gonna try and do beast stuff, even though we have Mama Crocodile, which is a very strange thing to say. Like, don't look at the second Mama Bear, I'm looking at the Sephon here, because Sephon is a poison card, and Sephon is just really strong as well. A second Mama Bear isn't gonna be able to beat my opponents, and I think that's one of the bigger skills as well to have in Battlegrounds, to know that you're not playing a single player game. You're not just playing alone against bots. No, you're playing against your opponents, so you need to beat them. You don't need to just stick with your own game plan, stick with your own idea, because if your own idea and game plan doesn't beat your opponents, you get 8th place, for example. So even though you might have a really good beast comp together, if someone plays a Zap, you lose. You might have a really good poison comp together, but if someone plays Death Rattle Beast, you lose, because, you know, a lot of small poisons lose to a bunch of big Death Rattle cards. And here, dude, it's so beautiful. Like, the Golem Buddy with a Reborn Crocodile gets so much tempo and value. I think the buddy is so flexible. We do end up losing to Onyxia though. They also seem to be having a pretty decent comp, oddly enough. I found a Malgadon, and I mean, the plan seems simple. Find another Bran, try and get perfect dongs on the board. There is also Lookout and Seafood Slinger that we can find, so there's snowball potential, but I think that Bran is already ahead of us and is already doing that stuff for like 2 turns ago. Got second Amalgadon though, which is not bad. I'm going out of Zap. I'm also finally going out of Birdberry. Probably I could try out the Amalgadon first. If it's trash, we can sell it and retry and maybe keep the Amalgadon. So that's what I was thinking about here. Also, the Frogger is still sitting in my hand. I'm just keeping Frogger there for good luck. Good luck card never hurts. So I'm gonna sell Birdberry. I could sell Frogger here as well, but I want to end on Selfless just to be safe. So I think selling the Taunt is just better, even though we get less croc value. I think the croc value fell off a while ago. Let's hope this one is good, and it is. We got Poison Divine Shield. Nice. The other one didn't get a shield, and there's no max, so it's not fixable. But it is what it is, and I'm gonna try and reborn Selfless, because the other reborns don't make too much sense. I guess you could reborn Amalgadon, so it gets poison back sometimes from Sephon. But I want to see how good reborn Selfless is. Also, look at the stats on this Galliwags. They're insanely big. Again, you wouldn't beat this with most comps. So going poison is just always the way. And there's a triple Selfless on the board. It's beautiful. Now Selfless is probably going to land on the other Selfless, but that's not even a bad thing, because now Selfless is just going to bump, and then they might bump into my shield, my poison, and then I could re-shield the poison. So it's kind of like refreshing. I don't know, what was it called? The Mackerel, the old one that got removed because it was too strong. And we won the fight. We kill Galliwags here, who is an absolute monster just by doing some scammy stuff. And I feel like that is too good on Lich King. It's too consistent. I don't even have that much poison. Don't even have a Reborn Myxna yet. Or a Spore. Reborn Spore is nuts, because if it dies, it summons 3 more Spores with my Golden Buddy, if I have the board space. And basically the dragon in front is also kind of a poison, because it has like a million attack. And we're up against Brand, so it's already a top 2. I take a Prester, because Prester is just one of the best deck cards late game in case my opponent has shields and have 2 donks already anyway. Gonna go out of Sephon, since, you know, I do got the Spore now, which is just technically better. Unless I end up reborning my dong. And here's Golden Selfless. Beautiful. I set up for it early. The only reason I have a Golden Selfless right now in this end fight is because I started taking them so early, even though I was tier 6. So if you already know ahead of time when you gotta pivot into what, you can set up for really good endgame builds. If you ever wonder how your opponent already has this Golden Selfless so early and this Prester, all of that stuff, it's because they started pivoting really early on and use tempo to just try and, you know, survive and live. So Prester actually ends up not being that good against his opponent. Well, here Prester just killed the dong for free, but they only have 1 shield, so I think Prester is probably the card that is to go next. It also ate a shield here. It's probably better to just full commit onto a poison board. They also didn't get the Spore value with our buddy, so we beat them, but we don't quite kill them. They're alive on 9. We seem a lot stronger though. They still have their triple big Murloc, but they don't have that many tech cards. They do have some Reborn Maxinas, and we also still have some improvements to make. Now, I wanted to mess around this endgame. I think Reborn Spore is always just fun and consistent here. No, Snake is good because we can Reborn Maxina. That obviously is better than most cards on our board. You could also consider reborning an Amalgadon and then finding Sephyn back. And there is Sephyn. Now, I could have taken this other Reborn a Dong, and then take the Sephyn. But I decided to just, you know, keep a Reborn in hand in case we hit Maxina. Take the Sephyn here, that's it. Instead of Prester, that didn't get much value. And try and get poison to Sephyn so that later on we might be able to poison a Dong if we reborn it. Does that make any sense? But yeah, still reborn the Spore. I get ghouled now though, so my opponent is finally starting to counter me. I also miss a 1 and 4. Like if they attack first, we always get full value because they put ghoul first. If we attack left, we also get full value from Selfless. This was a 1 and 4 where we don't get, like, we did get 2 spores back, so this is the beauty of reborning Spore. You just generate more poisons, but it's gonna end up, you know, being a win for them. We're still alive, but we now know that they have ghoul. I could have played around it. I could have gemmed up my Spore, which I probably should have done, honestly, but hey, now we know. And now I'm gonna look for a gem to put on the Spore, but sadly enough, I'm rolling quite a bit. I don't find it. There's a Baron though. Baron is interesting, but I don't think it's actually that good because, you know, sometimes we might not get any value from it. It's also a 1/7 on the board, and I think just, you know, the amounts of poison that we have should be enough. Now, I'm just selling Spore here for a Murloc so we don't lose to Ghoul. I wasn't able to find a gem, so we just have to end up putting a random poison on the board that has more than 1 HP. I'm also going to keep my positioning because, again, it's a 1 and 4 to lose, but he started playing around that. Put the Ghoul first, now it's a flip, and luckily we won the flip, so we still get full value here. I could start delaying my Selfless as well, but I'm scared that we are just gonna attack into the Poison Divine Shield Amalgadon and have a unit die for free because I don't really have a bumper otherwise. Now these Amalgadons that I reborned, you can see one of them getting poisoned, but they're also 6/1s, so they trade with the reborn Maxinas, they trade with the reborn Dong. I tried it out, so that's why I reborned the Dong and kept the Sephyn on board. It ended up being okay, but you know, we could also reborn the Golden Selfless and try and do something spicy with that. I found a gem, and I still take it because if I find Spore, I think reborning Spore is still better than having one of these random poison Murlocs on the board. Also found Maxina that we can reborn with this snake. And now there's an Adina on my shop, which is also a pretty decent tech card in case I need to fill something on my board, which I kind of do because I need to double sell here. This endgame is really fun because I'm just constantly switching up my board. Then I have a Spore, then I have Sephyn and another Murloc, then I have reborn Maxina, now I'm playing with Nadina. So every turn was different, and I think that's important to play mind games against your opponent. Like we're both kind of constantly attacking against each other, trying to counter each other and trying to play around the counter of each other. So that's the thing, you can play around your opponent, but they can play around you playing around it. Now we did this positioning because most of the time we should get value, but they attack first and we don't. Reason being, normally they didn't have Ghoul first the last couple of fights, so if I attack first, I lose a shield, then his Ghoul attacks in, and then Nadina attacks and I get 2 shields back onto the Dongs. There's also our 3 Golden Selflesses that can read summoned, absolutely beautiful. But yeah, if we attack first, we get value. If they attack first with whatever card it is that is not a Ghoul, we also just attack in with the Divine Shield Dong and then Divine Shield with Nadina. So we got shield anyway back onto our big dragon, so it's not like it was completely useless, and we just completely obliterate him this time with our reborn Maxina, our reborn Golden Selfless. This was beautiful. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something of how to play Lich King, and I'll catch you in the next video.